each screening, there was a talking going on. And I was like watching the audience going, what? The second time it happened. Again, third time, talking in this one particular spot. And I'm thinking, what? Did we do something wrong?
I called her out. I was like, Ellen's not that nice.
This was after you went on the show?
After I went on the show.
So you worked for Ellen as well?
Yeah, I did the first 2 years on that show.
And she
was rough. She was the C word. Yeah.
The Ellen situation.
Yeah.
You know, people found out that Ellen was mean, and all these people came out and said, Ellen's actually a...
Jim Caviezel says he knew what Ellen DeGeneres did to people close to her. And when you look at the facts, from Anne Heche's crash, Kat Perekop's suspicious passing away, and the sudden loss of Twitch, you start asking one question. Why does Ellen's name keep appearing in all these suspicious mysteries?
Oh, yeah. I can't believe it. And she lost everything. She fell apart, disappeared, because people found out that this character that she was portraying in half an hour on a television show is not really who she was. My buddy Greg, who was one of her writers, was like, she's a piece. And he was like, she's a monster.
For years, Ellen DeGeneres built a brand on 3 words: be kind, humor, and warmth. The dancing host who gave away cars and made people cry in a good way. That was the image. But recently, Jim Caviezel started talking, and what he described does not sound like kindness. Now, in order to understand what Jim revealed, we have to go back a couple of years ago, when multiple allegations surfaced that the Ellen Show was in fact a toxic workplace.
Ellen DeGeneres feeling the heat as more employees, past and present, from her show say that they were working in a toxic environment. Some Hollywood actors also speaking out against the talk show host now.
To understand why people like Jim Caviezel are asking hard questions about Ellen DeGeneres, you have to go back to the 1990s, back to a woman named Anne Heche. Anne was not just another celebrity ex. She was a rising star, critically acclaimed, beautiful, fearless. She had just come off Donnie Brasco with Al Pacino. She was dating Steve Martin at the time. But then she met Ellen. This was 1997, a time when a major actress dating another woman publicly was not safe for a career. But Anne didn't care. She walked red carpets with Ellen. She talked about their relationship openly. She risked everything.
Ellen remotely addressed her staff about the current allegations of turning a blind eye to a toxic work environment. She reportedly teared up and apologized, saying she's not perfect, and calling the disturbing allegations of the atmosphere on her show heartbreaking. She also responded to rumors that staffers are not allowed to look her directly in the eye, calling them crazy and not true.
To understand why people like Jim Caviezel are asking hard questions about Ellen DeGeneres, you have to go back to the 1990s, back to a woman named Anne Heche. Anne was not just another celebrity ex. She was a rising star, critically acclaimed, beautiful, fearless. She had just come off Donnie Brasco with Al Pacino. She was dating Steve Martin at the time.
You are our best dressed couple this year. Thank you. Yes, we're very grateful for that award. Well, we know that your Emmy meant a lot and all. I mean, come on, a big year, but the Golden Hank, significantly more emotional. The Emmy is like, I don't even know where that is. The Golden Hanger is right on the mantle. We were crying for days. And now, who are we wearing tonight? Well, we are wearing Pamela Dennis, and we are wearing Voyage.
Now, for a while, Ellen and Anne's relationship seemed worth it. But here's what happened next, according to multiple biographies and insider accounts. The relationship was intense, not just passionate, consuming. Friends of the couple later described them as inseparable. Then Ellen pulled back. Why? Industry pressures? Fear of being blackballed? Rumors that studios were threatening to pull projects if Ellen stayed.
Ellen was far from nice. We're out there for years. What was your reaction to the toxic workplace controversy?
I felt that it was in the hands of the people who needed to speak their truth. I hadn't spoken to Ellen in years, and I feel that the stories that need to be listened to are being told.
Did the stuff about her being emotionally abusive to her staff ring true to you?
Emotionally abusive is a container for our actions that we've not healed. And unfortunately, the abusive environment was something that I understood.
What happened after the breakup is public record. And it's heartbreaking. Anne suffered a very public, very severe mental health crisis. She was found in Fresno, California, more than 200 miles from Los Angeles, wearing minimal clothing, Bizarre, confusing clothing. She reportedly knocked on a stranger's door. When they opened it, she said she was looking for a spaceship to take her to heaven. She was hospitalized, diagnosed with a mental breakdown. She eventually recovered.
What happened out here, LA City Fire Department, I got to give it to them right off the bat. The men and women from this fire department, some of the most amazing. Vehicle into a structure, then that car catches fire. And when we say into a structure, I mean all the way in, almost coming out the other side. This house out here on Walgrove, right at the cross of Brookhaven, at Preston, you can see that T intersection. The best we can figure, that vehicle was on this street and made its way across, not stopping ever, through those hedges, through the front door, or through that front wall of this home, and lodged itself almost in the back. Then it caught fire. LA City Fire Department arriving here very quick.
Anne's car sped through a junction, jumped a curb, crashed into a 2-story house. The impact was so violent that the building swallowed the car. Anne was trapped inside for nearly 45 minutes. Firefighters arrived, but there was heavy fire, thick, black smoke. It took them almost an hour to cut her out. She was alive when they pulled her from the wreckage, but barely. Days later, Anne Heche passed away in the hospital. The official cause of her demise was inhalation and thermal injuries. She also had a sternum fracture from blunt force. Toxicology reports were released. Inactive metabolites of drugs were found, meaning past use, not active impairment at the time of the crash. That's the official story. But online theories, and we want to be very clear, theories, have asked questions that the official report doesn't fully answer. One, why were there conflicting reports about Anne's condition immediately after the crash? Some media outlets said she was stable. Others said she was intoxicated and combative. Which one was true? Two, could her car's operating system have been manipulated? Modern cars are computers on wheels. Some theorists have suggested that remote manipulation is possible. Is it likely? I don't know. But is it technically possible? Some engineers say yes. Three.
That's Ellen DeGeneres, spotted out in public for the first time since her ex, Anne Heche, crashed her car into a home in L.A.
Have you spoken to Anne Heche at all since her accident?
If not,
Do you want to...
we're not in touch with each other, so I wouldn't know.
For a woman who built a multi-million-dollar brand on the words "be kind," the silence was louder than any tribute could have been. That silence fueled more speculation. Anne Heche is just one name in Ellen's mysterious history. You see, before Ellen was famous, she was dating a woman named Kat Perkoff. Kat passed away in a car accident, but not a normal one. Here's what happened. Kat was driving a Mercedes-Benz 450 SL. The car crashed sideways into a large tree and split, literally split down the middle. Her sister later said something that has haunted true crime communities for decades. She claimed the car appeared to have been tampered with. The frame seemed pre-cut to fail at high speed. And there's more. Skeptics have pointed out something investigators apparently missed. There were no skid marks at the crash scene. None. If a driver loses control, you see skid marks. If a driver is forced off the road, sometimes you don't. Some have argued that Kat may have been run off the road, or that her brakes were tampered with. Now, to be fair, the police concluded it was an accident. No foul play, case closed. But here's where Ellen comes back into the story. Ellen's reaction to Kat's death. Many who knew her at the time described it as cold. According to multiple accounts, including some that Ellen herself has referenced indirectly, Ellen reportedly drove past the crash site without stopping. She has spoken about Kat's death in interviews over the years, describing the hardship she faced afterwards. But the image of her driving past the wreckage, that stuck with people. That was the first death linked to Ellen's orbit. It would not be the last. Leslie Jordan. If you don't know the name, you definitely know the face. The tiny, hilarious Southern gentleman who lit up every room he entered. He was a close friend of Ellen's, a frequent guest, and eventually a co-host on her show. On October 24, 2022, just months after Anne Heche's accident, Leslie Jordan crashed his car into a building in Hollywood. He was 67 years old. Authorities immediately suspected a medical emergency, possibly a cardiac arrest that caused him to lose control. But here's what's strange. Another car accident, another person connected to Ellen, another sudden death. To be clear, there is no evidence of foul play in Leslie's death, none. But the pattern of